Danny, well, a suspect is dead after an exchange of gunfire with police in Fayetteville yesterday afternoon. Arkansas State Police have now taken over this investigation into that deadly shooting at the Cliffs apartment complex. Police responded to a report of a shooting at the complex just before noon Sunday. When they got there, they say the suspect started shooting at them from their apartment. As officers evacuated residents, police say negotiators used an armored vehicle to try to get close to the apartment and make contact with the person inside. But they say the suspect then started shooting at that vehicle. Fayetteville police say the suspect was eventually shot by officers found dead inside their home. Police say the top priority was making sure other residents were safe.
Upon locating the apartment that it may have been from, officers received fire. At that point, they all took cover. We attempted to make communication with the suspect verbally, and the suspect did not communicate back with us and continued to fire back.
We heard a couple shots, and then we heard, it sounded like a smaller caliber gun, and then we heard a different gun. It's one thing to hear about it on the news and another for it to happen in your, front yard almost.
Fayetteville Police Department says it will also conduct an internal investigation into its response. As of this afternoon, the suspect's name has not been released. Today, Stacey Lee Drake is back in court for a status hearing. Remember, Drake was captured in Morrilton, Arkansas last June after a multi-day manhunt. He's accused of killing Tara Underwood and Taylor Sharp in Oklahoma. And since then, he's also been charged with another murder in Canadian County and linked to a fourth killing in Alabama. Drake has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder, and prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Well, a Fayetteville man often seen performing on Dixon Street with his bagpipes has been charged with rape. You can see him right here on your screen, arrested Friday. He's in the Washington County Jail on a $25,000 bond. His first court appearance was scheduled for this morning, so we'll bring you any updates on this case here on 5 News. Well, an investigation is underway after a Rogers Public School admin building was damaged in a fire over the weekend. RPS Superintendent Jeff Perry tells 5 News that this fire began around 10 Saturday morning in an office on the west side of the building. No one was in the admin building at the time and no one was injured. The cause of the fire is being investigated. District leadership is moving to a nearby building for the time being, and admin support staff will work from home. Another meeting about the Franklin County Prison Project is set for this Tuesday, coming just a few weeks after State Senator Brian King called for a pause on payments to Veneer, the California firm overseeing the project. He says he's made multiple attempts to meet with the firm since May, but the company's ignored his requests. He responded by asking the Department of Corrections to halt payments until they answer questions about the project. Tuesday's hearing will be at the state capitol. Well, new surveillance video shows what happened in a random attack that killed a Ukrainian refugee in North Carolina last month. The 23-year-old was riding the light rail in Charlotte when a man attacked her from behind with a knife. This new video does not show the moment of the stabbing, but we do want to warn you the footage is still disturbing. Skylar Henry reports.
It's just before 10 p.m. on August 22nd, and 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown Jr. is seated on a Charlotte light rail train. Several other people are around him. According to officials, a few minutes later, the train doors open, and 23-year-old Arina Zarutska gets on and takes a seat in front of Brown. She's wearing what appears to be a work uniform, AirPods, and looking at her phone. But then, the unthinkable happens. You see Brown pull out what officials say was a pocket knife. He unfolds it, then stands up behind Zarutska. What we aren't showing you is the moment where Brown then stabs Zarutska several times, then walks away. Here you can see Brown trying to get off the train, and then a few people spring into action, attempting to save Zarutska. She would die from her injuries. Meanwhile, Brown, who has removed his hoodie, waits for the train to stop. And then you see him exit. Officials say it appears that Brown and Zarutska did not know each other, and a motive for the stabbing remains under investigation. According to court documents, Brown has a criminal history dating back to 2011, including robbery with a dangerous weapon and other offenses. Charlotte's mayor, Vi Lyles, released this statement on X, saying in part, "This was a senseless and tragic loss. My prayers remain with her loved ones as they continue to grieve through an unimaginable time." Brown is charged with first-degree murder and remains behind bars.
Skyler Henry, CBS News.
This week marks a month since President Trump deployed the Washington, D.C. National Guard. Now he's threatening to send in National Guard troops to Chicago, citing violent crime and illegal immigration. He says he expects to decide on a course of action for the city today or tomorrow. The White House says it's been moving immigration enforcement personnel into Chicago. Advocates report immigration detentions there over the weekend.
A man who's been selling flowers on this corner for months and months and months was picked up.
White House officials say how Chicago residents respond to immigration raids could determine whether Trump sends in troops, but Illinois Democrats say a National Guard deployment wouldn't help with crime. Instead, they suggest federal partnerships to reduce gun violence and hiring more police officers. Well, President Trump is threatening more sanctions against Russia after its biggest air attack on Ukraine in nearly 4 years of war. Saturday night's assault caused serious damage in Ukraine's capital, including one of its most important government buildings. Holly Williams has the latest.
Russia launched a swarm of over 800 drones, according to Ukraine's Air Force. The Ukrainians intercepted most of them, but nearly 60 drones evaded air defences, killing 4, including a 2-month-old baby. Unusually, the assault also set fire to a building used by Ukraine's cabinet ministers, normally well guarded by anti-missile and drone systems. This young mother in Kyiv is frightened. Every new attack gets more outrageous, she said. Just last month, President Trump rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin in Alaska. But since then, Russia's intensified its attacks on Ukraine, and it's also ramping up its production of weaponized drones. Yesterday, President Trump said he was ready to hit Russia with a second phase of sanctions. That could mean targeting countries that continue to buy Russian oil, like India and China.
Russia is not a normal state. It's a petrol station.
Last month in Kyiv, a Ukrainian military official told us that Vladimir Putin has no interest in ending the war. But he's fearful of sanctions that could further damage Russia's economy.
His willingness to meet with President Trump on Alaska was actually because of the fact that he was really scared about sanctions.
President Trump said yesterday that he'd speak with Vladimir Putin in the coming days. In an interview that aired yesterday, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said the visit to Alaska gave Putin what he wanted, a very public meeting with the President of the United States. Holly Williams, CBS News, London.
Well, teenage influencer Carlo Acutis was declared the Catholic Church's newest saint in a ceremony led by Pope Leo, drawing a large crowd, including many young people the church hopes to reach. As a preteen, Carlo created a website to catalog miracles. His work gained attention worldwide. At 15, he was diagnosed with leukemia and died 4 days later. Since his death, his mother has worked to advance his path to sainthood. Now, some critics say the process has moved too quickly, pointing to his family's resources and the attention surrounding his story. But the Catholic Church points to the miracles attributed to him as evidence.